Hi everyone, I want to first apologize for the way the last video ended. My phone went dead. That's the reason for that. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I was at the point where I was saying that my wife and my fiance and I we were not communicating because of the whole situation. Anyway, I prayed about it and I leave it in the hands of the Lord and I just trust him that he will fix it because this was his doing of bringing us together and I didn't think he was just going to let us fall apart. However, not long after my fiance came around, she would have to share her own experience, but the Lord revealed it to her, and we both left the church. And after we left the church, I would not go into it because I don't want to. But people were mean. People say a whole bunch of stuff. People say so many things. Uh, I wanted to also, um, say to you all what happened Thursday night. I didn't remember while I was doing the other video, but I remember now. Thursday night, the Lord said to me that when He was here, He walked among man and He mingled and He talked to everyone. He He never separated Himself or treat anyone less or anyone more. He treat everyone the same, and He was loving and He was kind to everyone. Uh, and Ellen White said that we should not send our kids to public school to mingle with others and to be, influenced by them. We should, in other words, just stay to ourselves because we are special, we are holy, whatever. Yeah, you know the stuff. Yeah, and he was basically saying that that's not him. That's not him, and that the Adventists are making a big mistake because when he first came here, the Jewish people, they were telling everyone that they needed to be under their umbrella, the Jewish umbrella. And he said he removed all those things. He, you know, um, moved past all those things. And however, the Seventh Day Adventists today, they are telling people that they need to come under the Seventh Day Adventist umbrella in order to be saved. But then he said to me, Chris, my umbrella is already over the world. All you need to do is come to me. Come beneath my umbrella. There is nothing special about the church you attend. You are only special if Jesus is in your heart. If you are connected to him, that's when you become special. When you become one with Jesus. So yeah, the reason why I couldn't stay was because what the Lord was now revealing to me was completely different from what they were all about and everything. They were focusing so much on what we should be doing and you know do's and don'ts and all the rules and everything, but they never focus on what Jesus already did. And I think that is way more important than anything is what Jesus did. Jesus finished work is complete work that he did for us. So they were focusing on do's and don'ts, and we would look on innocent people who were worshiping God, and we would call their worship vain because they worship on the first day of the week. We would quote the text that says, in vain do they do worship me, teaching for doctrine the commandments of men. We will say they are daughters of Babylon. Everyone who worship on Sunday is a daughter of Babylon, and that the mark of the beast is Sunday worshiping, not today, but when that law is enforced and when the law is passed, then and those were Seventh Adventists. If you, for example, you're a Seventh Adventist, but you see, because they say we're gonna go to a point where they're gonna start killing those who worship on the Sabbath. They're gonna be persecuted, just like olden days they claim. So they were awaiting this law, and the Sunday law would be whenever that law would be passed, and then if people continue to worship on Sunday, and if those who were worshiping on Saturday change and start going to church on Sunday, that would mean they have the mark of the beast, because it's the observant of the day, meaning the fake Sabbath or the Antichrist Sabbath or whatever. Yeah, that's what they say, and a whole bunch of stuff. And these are stuff that I believe, that I taught many people. I was an evangelist. I've spoken both local and internationally. So these are things that I believe. But what the Lord was now revealing to me, it was different. It was completely different. It was just not the same. So even though he didn't say, hey, leave, but what he revealed to me made it impossible for me to stay. Because if I stayed, I would be taken away from Jesus. And I believe that it's ridiculous for me to have Jesus on Monday, and he's here with me on Monday, and he's here with me Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all those days he is with me. But then when it comes to Friday, I become different, as if he have just arrived. Like, like the atmosphere is changed, everything is changed. I think that was taken from Jesus, because listen, Jesus has been with me from Monday, from the start of the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, throughout. Then I don't need to go crazy on Friday evening. And I believe when we're going crazy on Friday evening is that we are taken away from Jesus, where our focus is no longer on him. Because if our focus was really on him, then we would be excited, we would be worked up on Monday, because he is with us. But when Friday comes, that's the time we're worked up, that's the time we're excited, like as if Jesus just came, as if he have just arrived, like there was a different. And I think, for me, I think that's just idolizing the day, helping out Jesus, and he don't need our help. He don't need our help. He did a complete work on the cross. He said, it is finished. It is finished. It's done. He came here and he lived a perfect life for me and for you. And I just believe staying in the Seventh-day Adventist Church, based on what the Lord revealed to me, I would be robbing him. I would be making him less of who he really is, because I was saying that his death and his resurrection and his life was not enough to save me. It was not enough to secure my salvation in him. I needed to play a part. I needed to keep the Sabbath. I needed to behave right. I needed to do all these things in order for my salvation to be secure. And that was not what the Lord was saying to me. He was saying, listen, you're safe. It's a done deal. Listen, what let me tell you the gospel that the Lord, he didn't say these things to me, but later on I came to understand and learn from reading and from talking to people. And God bless Dr. Baldwin, God bless Elsie Thunder. These are people who I never knew them while I was going through everything. But when the Lord revealed what he did to me, it was so similar to what they were saying. So I gravitated to them, and I got their context, and I start communicating to them. So let me give you what the gospel is, what people need to know today. It's all about Jesus. It's all about Jesus. Let me tell you this. So, we have Jesus is like this. The gospel. Jesus is like you have different type of pills. You have or different type of food that you eat to benefit your body in different ways. However, you have pill for this and pill for that and whatever. But there's this one pill that I take one every day. It's called One a Day Men. Okay? And when I take one of those pills, I receive all the vitamins, everything that my body needs. I receive it by taking that one pill. And what the Lord brought me to understand is that he is that one pill. When I have Jesus, I am justified. I am sanctified. I am holy. I am clean in him. I'm righteous. I'm keeping the Sabbath. He's the sanctuary. Like, he is the entire package. He's everything. And the minute I have Jesus, the minute I am in him, then it just fall in naturally. I'm keeping the Sabbath by resting in Jesus. I'm doing everything that you can think of. Everything is not coming to me, but everything that people are worked up about, when you are in Jesus, the multivitamin, he covers everything. So when you have him, he covers Sabbath keeping. He covered church attendance. It covered dressing right. It covered every single thing. And also, as you guys can see that I'm wearing my earrings now. I never used to. The way I cut my hair, like, I was taught that these things were wrong, and like, they were displeasing to God. But the Lord revealed to me that you cannot look at a person attire and determine their relationship with God. You cannot look at a person and determine who they are and where they are spiritually. God, you can't do nothing to gain or for God to love you more or to love you less. He loves you, and that's it. Full stop. End of the story. And there's nothing you can do. Okay, so let me get back to letting you know what the gospel is, what the real gospel is, what people need to know today. Okay, so the gospel: for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believe in him should not perish but have everlasting life. Whosoever what? Believe in him. Not whosoever speak in tongues, not whosoever keep the Sabbath, not whosoever keep Lord's Day, not whosoever keep feasts, not whosoever are called Israelite. Whosoever believe in him should not perish but have everlasting life. That's the gospel in a nutshell. But let me break it down for you. Okay, so guys, when you understand that you are a sinner, you were made a sinner not by your actions. It's not what you do make you a sinner. You were made a sinner by the actions of Adam. What Adam did brought you into a state of condemnation. You were condemned. You were separated from God. You were alienated from God because of what Adam did, not you. So you were made a sinner by the actions of Adam, which seems pretty unfair. You were condemned. You were separated. You were away from God, not for your action, but because of what Adam did. So understand that. Get this. You're not a sinner for what you do. It's not what you do makes you a sinner. Okay? For the baby who's born today, that baby's born condemned, not because of what he does. He's just condemned as a grown person who haven't received Jesus as their Lord and Savior as yet. They are both condemned. Why? Not because this guy is a killer or whatever, but he is condemned because of what Adam did. Okay, the entire human family, we were placed in a condemned state because of what Adam did. The youngest of baby, yeah, they're all condemned and should not be in the presence of God because of what Adam did. But praise God, we have the second Adam, Jesus, who came and he lived a righteous life. And you know what the Bible said? The Bible said that while we were God's enemy, notice it's not talking about church people, because it says who? God's enemy. While we were God's enemy, Jesus died and reconciled us. Jesus what? Died and reconciled us. Now, when you look up the word reconcile means to be brought back, to be reunited, to be put in right standing with God. So what Adam did, Jesus came and he undid it. He made it right. So today, I am not righteous because of what I do. I am not righteous because of my action. You are not righteous because of your action. You can do nothing to become righteous. All your righteousness, the Bible describes it as filthy rags. You waking up in the morning and praying for 3 hours, it's good and you should do it, but it cannot help you when it comes to salvation. It's nothing but filthy rags. That's what the Bible said. What makes you righteous is when you accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior. When you believe him, his complete work, his finished work is applied to you. It's applied to you. He gave it all to you. It becomes yours. And at that moment, you become fully righteous. You become fully clean. You become fully holy. You become fully sanctified, fully set apart for holy purposes. When you believe in Jesus, When you believe in Jesus, you are as righteous as Jesus himself. Jesus is not going to give you 50% of his righteousness and give somebody else 30, or all of us receive 100% righteousness. Jesus is connected to the Father when he was here, made him fully righteous. We are connected to Jesus, make all of us fully righteous. Now, we are righteous by being connected to Jesus, believing in the finished work of Jesus, then we become righteous. And listen, so I say, for example, I got baptized today and I'm living a righteous life. I'm doing things that people consider that Christians should be doing. And for some reason I messed up and I cheated on my wife and I slept with someone who I shouldn't have. That don't mean I'm no longer righteous. My sin, my action doesn't undo the cross. It doesn't undo what Jesus did. Jesus have made me perfect, made me perfect forever by one sacrifice. In Hebrews, by one sacrifice, Hebrews 10 verse 11 to 14, by one sacrifice he have made perfect those who are being made holy. By the death of Jesus at the cross, our present, past, and future sins were forgiven. That's the gospel. Now that's good news. That's good news. I don't come to church for you to dress me. I don't come to church for you to tell me what I need to look like and what I come to church to hear the good news of Jesus. Okay? That's all that we should go to church for, to hear the good about the goodness of Jesus. But these people have turned themselves into hairdressers and dressmakers because they want to dress you and they want to tell you what to do and they want to tell you all to, like, listen, whatever you wear to church doesn't make you holy or unholy. Notice when Adam and Eve was at the highest level of holiness, they were both naked. Yeah, the Bible said that God covered them up, but can you tell if he just covered their private area? You don't know. Guys, none of us look like Jesus. I don't see people walking around wearing robe. Stop condemning people for what they wear. Stop condemning innocent people who are worshiping God, who are God-fearing because they wear jewelry. You look at them and you're like, oh, they're nowhere with God. Because I used to do it. I would look at innocent people, and because they were wearing jewelry, I believe, because I was taught that, these things are wrong. And I just thank God so much for what he did for me. And guys, that's all there is to everything. Just believe. When you are in Jesus, now, as I was saying, if I mess up and sleep with someone, that doesn't affect me being fully righteous. It doesn't undo the cross. Jesus is our advocate. Now, somebody who is perfect, somebody who can't make mistake, don't need an advocate. Only somebody who's capable of messing up needs an advocate. An advocate defends. Okay? So all these things that people make, and these rules and these do's and these do's, it's nonsense, and it's not necessary. It's just stressing and depressing people. Like today I was listening to a sermon, and the guy said he almost slept with someone, and had he slept with that person, then he would have been brought back to square one. And I'm like, really? So are you telling me that when Peter denied Christ, he went back to square one? Are you telling me that when Paul and Peter, when they were being a hypocrite, acting a certain way in front of the Jews and then acting a certain way in front of the Gentiles, they went back to square one? No. Guys, we all mess up. I am not a sinner. I'm a saint who sometimes sin. It's not even me who sin, but it's, as Paul said, the things that I would do, I don't, and the things that I don't want to do, that I do. And he said, if I do the things that I know that I don't want to do, then it's no longer me who do it, but sin that lives, or that dwells in me. Now listen, Jesus is going to come and he's going to take us from this flesh, and we're going to be perfectly whole. We're not going to have these struggles no more. But he understands, and he loves you. Guys, there's no human being on this planet who have ceased to sin. We all sin. Whether knowingly or unknowingly, we all sin. Every sin is willful. Okay? So all those persons who are out there acting all high and mighty, they are sinning. They are messing up. Being in Jesus is like this. I take this from Dr. Baldwin. You're in a bus, and the bus is, for example, let me not say bus. Let me say a plane. You're in a plane, and the plane is traveling from Jamaica to the US. Okay? We're all in the plane. We're in the plane. For whatever reason, we are in the plane, and I've experienced turbulence, and they're very, like, it's really scary. And I've gone through many, and the plane shakes and do a whole lot of crazy stuff. For example, you are experiencing one of those, and for whatever reason, while you were going through this, you end up hurting yourself. You fall down, your seat belt or whatever. Things just got messy, right? Those bruises, those whatever happened in that plane, that those represent your sin. And even though you fall down, you mess up, you're bleeding, you're nasty, you're bloody, you're still in Jesus. You're still in the plane. And unless you stop the plane, which is impossible, you are in the plane. Once you are in Jesus, when you sin, you don't fall out Jesus. You're still in Jesus. You just need to get up and move on. You are still in Jesus. Unless you stop the plane, which you can, and get up. And people believe that when they sin, they backslid. No. You backslidden when you stop believing in the finished work of Jesus. When you don't believe that Jesus is the Son of God and he came here to do all these things for you, when you stop believing these things, that's when you backslidden. When you no longer believe in Jesus, not when you mess up. We all mess up. That means we backslidden every single day. So, in closing, Dr. Bowen again would say this. It's like a guy who is on the street begging, and another guy who's rich, a millionaire, should say to this poor guy, "Hey, I just deposit all the money all the money that you will need for the rest of your life in your account. It's yours." If this poor guy say to this rich guy, "I don't believe you. I don't believe that you would do such thing. Like, you would do this for me. Why would you do this? I don't believe you." The fact that he doesn't believe doesn't change the fact that the money is in his account. He only cannot benefit from the money, not because the money's not there, but because he don't believe in it. So he will be living an average life. He'll be living as a pauper, a beggar, while he's actually a millionaire, not because he doesn't have money, but because of unbelief. Because he doesn't believe that the guy did this for him, he will be living a life of a beggar while he's actually a millionaire. Don't be that guy. Don't say this is too good. Don't say there's no way Jesus did this for me. He did it for you. Listen, this pathway to heaven, it's believing in the finished work of Jesus and trusting him to take you there. You are holy. You're righteous. You're clean. And if you mess up tonight, you're still holy. You're still righteous. You're still clean. Because you're not clean by your action. You're clean by believing in Jesus. You're clean by your faith. Believing in the complete work of Jesus. Jesus is not like me. If my wife should be crying at this moment and she need a shoulder to cry in, of course I have a shoulder that's available. But then say my mother also need a shoulder, I have another shoulder. Sure, but then if other person needs a shoulder to cry in, I'm full. I don't have any more head space for them to lay their head on. It's not the same with Jesus. It doesn't matter how far you have gone. It doesn't matter where you are. Whenever you come to Jesus, your head space is always there. For all of us, it's there, untouched, just waiting for you to come and place your head on him and let him comfort you. Thank you for watching this video. God bless you. I love you, but Jesus loves you more. Goodbye.